Welcome, dear viewers, to my latest presentation. I am Mwalimu Ndundula Penedikulu, presenting a new topic titled Diverse Sounds of Suffix ed in Preterits. Preterits has got two spellings, with or without an e, and it simply means past tense of verbs, of regular verbs, because the suffix ed appears only in regular verbs. But before going into the gist of the topic of the presentation, let me extend my infinite heartfelt gratitude to the empathetic Mr. Takesh Pandey in Houston, Texas, in the States, for his timely and unexpected altruistic financial support towards the production of this video clip. I am really very, very grateful indeed. How I wish there were more such coming my way. Thank you. We are going to talk about this suffix and the sound it produces. It has got a variety of sounds. When you come from a different alphabet, it could be Cyrillic alphabet, Sanskrit alphabet, Arabic alphabet, and even the people themselves using the Roman alphabet, we do face a lot of problems to pronounce correctly the suffix ed in the past tense of regular verbs. That's why we thought of presenting this lesson today in order to help everyone adjust properly and produce the prescribed dictionary sound accordingly. You might wish to ask, why present this topic when there are so many people who have already written? Well, they have done so, but there is always room for an improvement. Now, this suffix, the sound of this suffix ed depends on the letter which precedes it. So we are going to see the regular sounds of ed when we go to the phonetic chart. And I'm going to show you the chart in question. Here is the consonantal phonetic chart. All students of English have to be familiar with this chart. We have all these symbols representing not the letters, but the sound. This is not P, this is P, like you say pipe. This is not B, like we say in the alphabet A, B, C, D. No, this is B, B. This is not M, this is Me. So all these in red and in dark blue symbols represent sounds. They are called, that's why they are called phonetic chart. They are not the alphabet we use in our prose and poetry. Now, the ones that you see in red, this is how they describe them in all universities and all teachers' training colleges. Those on top are called voiceless, those in red. Sometimes they appear two, sometimes they appear one only. When they are unique, they are all voiced. When they are two, one of them should be voiced, the other one is called voiceless. Now I'm telling you that all those in red are voiceless. And so if they appear in front of the suffix ed, the sound we'll get there should be T. The phonetic representation should be T. They may be the same as some of the letters we use in the alphabet, but here they are simply representing sound. So now, as you can see, the reds, how many are they? Well, about 9. And so all of them will have a different sound depending on which one comes in front of ed. And on this chart, we have the last row where we have W and Y. These two are what we call semi-vowels. If they are semi-vowels, half vowels, then they are also half consonants. Why do we say so? Because when they are positioned at the beginning of a letter, they are really consonants. For instance, you say when. That's correct. When. Although the Americans will put an H in front and say when. Well, we are doing RP, British Standard English, received pronunciation. And when it comes in the middle or at the end of a word, the same W becomes now a vowel. Low, low. So this is a vowel here, but here it's a consonant. The same with Y. If it is at the beginning, it's a consonant. When it comes at the end or in the middle, it's a vowel. It's a bicycle. Okay? Boy. It's a vowel. The Y there is a vowel. But here, yeast, year, yet, yes, these are all consonant. That's why they are half semi-vowels as well as semi-consonant. Let's now start the actual exercise on the voiceless sounds, those in reds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, there are 8. No, there are 9 because H is not here. There are 9. H is not here. We will also put it. Now, when we begin our exercise, the first one is that same S being followed by ED. The sound to be produced, these are the spellings. When you see a verb in the past tense, not any verb, a regular verb in the past tense, ending in S-E-D, the sound should be st, st. So we say base and then based. Not D. We write D, but we pronounce T. In the dictionary, that's what we will find. And so the sound is based. Those in red, all their sound will be st, st, mist, blessed. We'll talk about this blessed later on when it is used as an adjective. You say the blessed. That's an exception to the rule. It's not even an exception. It's used not as a preterit, not as a past tense, but as an adjective. Number 2, when this same ED is preceded by X, it will still give us kst, kst. So we have here axt, axt. That's how we should represent it. You see, it shouldn't be otherwise. We have to abide by the dictionary prescriptions. Buxed, kst, and then vexed. All those ending in XED would produce the sound kst, kst, like that. So that's what we are saying. Even on the number 1, again, let me come back on that one. You don't say, I've placed D. No, it's I've placed T. I've announced D. No, I've announced T, T, like that. Because the sound is, you may have the E at the end, but it's not pronounceable. So in sound, it ends with S. Number 3, we get now these 4 letters to produce the sound st, st, st. So we get here finish, we add ed, finished, and then finished, isht, isht, like that. Flashed, flashed, like that. From there, we come to these 4 letters. Here they are 4, there they are 5. They will give us the sound, for example, with arch, arch. Now, when it is the preterit, past tense, we get arch, arch, arched. Sorry for that. Arched, correct? And then branched, branched. Okay? And then matched, matched, matched. Correct. Quite a heckle of a job there, huh? Sorry for that. And then we come to number 5. On number 5, we have got these 3 letters. You know, the suffix ed is still present, but it is preceded by another voiceless sound, T. So, when it is like that, we will pronounce it as tid, salted. This one, with 3 broken lines preceding it, is used only in combination. Chested, tid, you know, throughout. Salted, footed, committed, committed. We now come to number 6. There is K-E-D. It should be pronounced as kt, kt, kt. So, ink, inked, smoke, smoked. You see, this E is not audible. It's not pronounceable. So we stick to the final sound, which is K, and so we get smoked, picked, like that. So these are all voiceless sounds, symbols that represent the voiceless sounds in English. We now come to PED. PED will give us pt, pt, just like that. Peep, peeped. Tape, taped. Pipe, piped. Like that. All of them. And then we come to this one. It's now FED to give us the sound ft, ft. So for instance, we have the infinitive here is kaf. As you can hear, the last sound is kaf. F is the last sound. So cuffed, and then served, and then sniffed. Just like that. There is nothing like cuffed, served, sniffed. No, that will be non-dictionary sound, and it will not be considered accurate. You see, phoneticians would not appreciate such production because it's not traceable in a dictionary. The last one on these voiceless sounds is THED. I could only find one case during my research, and this is in the word, for example, again, it is only used in combination when you say toothed, tooth, toothed, and so we get toothed, toothed. If you look at the table, on this last one, if we look at the phonetic table, you can see that this is also voice. This is the one we are talking about. It's a fricative, okay? Dental fricative. You describe them. Why do we call them plosive? This is for university students and those at the teacher training colleges. It's a stop because it's like a bomb. P, B. It's like you are exploding something. Their names are there, how to pronounce them, the position of the organs in your mouth, and the sound we hear. Fricative is like a hissing sound. Affricate is like a mixture of the two. J, like that. And so nasal is through the nostrils. And so this is the chart for students, but of course you can have a look at it like we've done. We are through with the voiceless sound being followed by ED. We now go to the voiced sound that are also going to be followed by ED. In this case now, because they are voiced, you look at this chart at your own pace. All those in dark blue are voiced. If you attach to them ED, the suffix ED, they will give you the sound. D would be there at the end. So let's see how it goes. They are all there. Mame, as you can see, as you can hear, the last sound is M. So, and M is there. So it will be maimed, md. This spelling is not made. No, I know we are coming from different, alphabets. And for instance, we Bantu language, Bantu people, if you write a letter, it should be pronounced. So we have a tendency of pronouncing everything we see, which is not the correct way to go as when you are dealing with English. So there is nothing like made here, it's maimed, md. And then tamed, tamed. The last sound here is M. This E is inaudible. Climb, climb. B is not even pronounceable, but we stop at M. Climb, and so we shall get climbed and climbed too. NED will produce end. For example, attain, attained, attained. Past, preterit, past participle. Rain, rained, rained. Captain, that's captain, and then I've captained you. That's how it should be pronounced according to the dictionary prescription. And then we are attaching now the ED to a bare infinitive here. This is bare. Now, when we add ED, that E remains, or we remove it and put ED, it will still give us this sound, bird, like that. Americans, like we said in our previous videos, when we were comparing, contrasting UK standard RP, and American Standard English, we said that American Standard English, in American Standard English, all the R must be heard. This is not the case in British English. For an R to be heard, when it is at the final position, a vowel must start the next word. Otherwise, it will remain silent if it is followed by a consonant. So for instance, you can say never again. That's British, correct? British sound. But you can say never go. Not never. No, never go alone outside. Something like that. So when the final R is followed by a consonant in British Standard English, it's not pronounceable. That's received pronunciation, RP. But in America, all the R's, final or middle, are to be pronounced. That we said in the other. I can refer you to my other video, the preceding videos we shot some time back. We now come to number 3. Number 3, we've done it. Number 3, good. So we have there bad, dared, and wrapped. The sound is D for these two ED, not ed. Don't pronounce it as ed, just D. Then jed. Jed is the sound for these 4 letters put together. So we say a cage, and then caged, aged, fledged, gauged, jid, jid. That's the sound we should produce when we add ed to this, when we attach ed to j sound. Okay? Number 5, there is now this word. We are just from talking about semi-vowel and semi-consonant. In here, because of its position, its final position in the infinitive, we consider it to be a vowel. And so it should be bowed, if I do like this, respect, okay? Or bowed, talking about the bow for shooting arrows and things like that. It has 2 sounds, depending on the meaning. Mo. In spelling, they are like a consonant, but in sound, they are vowels. So we just add ood, bowed, and toed, like that. Number 6, these 4 letters will be simply pronounced as ed. Don't go into pronouncing each letter you see in English. It doesn't work like that. Whether you are coming from, ideograms, Chinese, how they write, and Japanese, to them, their symbols do not represent sounds. Their symbols represent ideas. So they will find some problems learning English if they are really native speakers of, Mandarin and things like that. That's why we are saying all these 4 letters will simply produce the sound ed. For instance, don't say feathered. No, it's simply feathered, feathered, and slithered, ed, offered, not offered. No, offered. Simply that. Non-native speakers may face problems with such spellings when reading on their own. And of course, when we go to school, we have to learn the correct material. You see, school is expensive. Even when they say it's free. No, it's not. It's never free. The government is paying for you. So try to take full advantage of that. We spend money in order to get quality, good quality service. So when you spend money, definitely you should be introduced to the right material. Okay, we have said all those 4 letters will give us the sound ed. All these 5 letters now will also give us the sound ed. So we say colored, not colored. No, don't pronounce like that in English, standard English, that is to say. So that was number 7. We would say humid. We would say favored. Simply that. Okay? We have to learn a few things by heart, and we have to repeat and practice, and then we will acquire knowledge. If no one gives you, you can't acquire knowledge if no one gives it to you. That someone can be a teacher, can be a good book, can be attending conferences, a neighbor, and so on and so on. But on your own, it's impossible to acquire proper knowledge, without being initiated to it. We come to number 8. All these sounds, the 4 letters there will give us the sound D simply. Don't go about finding other sounds. So here we should have paw and pod. Pod also. Toward, and then sour, and then soured. Simply that. All right? Well, we are all at school. What they say is that from the cradle to the grave is a school day time. Knowledge, learning never stops until we are no more. No matter who you are, you will always learn. We have watched so many videos. We have seen that there are gray areas in all of them. It's natural. We are human beings. We are not perfect angels. So learning never stops until we are no more. From the cradle to the grave. It's a school day time. Number 9. These 4 letters, here or there, would give us the sound erd, a long sound. Like say verb, erd, and a short sound. So here we have preferred. That's the sound there. And here, pressured. All those in dark blue will simply be pronounced as ed, pressured. And then measured. Number 10, we have here the same suffix, ed, which is at the center of our presentation, being attached to Bare Infinitive to form the preterit. And the sound would be played. This ed will only give us the sound D, played, keyed for these 2. Preterit and past participle, buoyed, will give us that, D only. Number 11, for the voiced sound. When you get these 3 letters, they will give us again D, simply that. It's wrong to say bared. No, it's not even correct. The meaning will be lost. So this is bad, long R sound. Tad, that's American, we have said it. Let's put the British. The pound here represents British pronunciation, and then the dollar symbol there is American standard sound. Okay? And then we come to number 12, believe. These 3 letters will give us vd, not ved, vd. So we get believed, conceived, deceived, and so on and so forth. We come to number 12. These 4 letters will give us the nasal sound, ngde, like we say, bang, and then banged, banged. You see that N with a tail is for nasal sound. And so ring, ringed, like that, and then to prolong, and then prolonged. DED would give us did. So for instance, if ED is attached to the letter D, then we shall get the sound did. For example, brand, and then we shall get branded, like that. Branded, confounded, pounded. That's how the language operates. Double L in British or 1 L in the US, you will pronounce this as traveled. Traveled. Both these will be pronounced as eld, traveled, like that. Peopled, cold, circled. So that's how they are supposed to be pronounced. We come now to this one, S being attached to, ED being attached to S. You remember, we did that one on base, but look at this one now. Instead of based, it is now zd. So we get refuse, refused, refused. This one is supposed to be dark blue, not the way it is. Refused, and then posed, and then amused, You see, it's the same SE as we saw above there on bass, but this time there it was giving us, you see, it was what? For the voiceless. Here we have the sound, it is written S, but the sound it produces is a voiced one, Z. That's why we get amused, refused, because this S is actually pronounced as Z, and Z is one of those voiced sounds. Now, before last, or is it the last one, is this one. These three letters, G, E, D, will be pronounced as gd, gd. Simply that. So we have a bag, bagged. And then tag, tagged. And then your dog, American, long R sound, dog. Okay, American plus dog. Okay, so when we come to the preterite, the ED, this is dogged. Okay, simply that. So, I wish to thank you most heartedly, wholeheartedly, that is to say, for spending your precious time listening to my presentation. You will forgive me because, after all, I'm not a perfect angel, but we are trying to help one another in some way, so that at least learning becomes a pleasurable experience to all of us. It is hoped that you will never again mispronounce the suffix ed. You have to learn these rules somewhat by heart, memorization. I don't mean learning by rote. Rote learning is good for parrots. They don't understand what they are doing. You should understand what you are learning and be able to reproduce when it is needed. If you want more on English phonetics to be found, more information, more details on English phonetics are to be found in any of my Lundula published textbooks on display on Lundula Facebook. Alternatively, do contact Lundula Publishing House directly on this email address or that phone number. Okay? Whatever the choice, let's prolong our English language discussion, on these social media. Okay? Thereafter, your incisive, if unbiased commentaries, however acerbic, on any of our educational textbooks will be met with the heartiest of welcome. Once again, thank you for spending your precious time instead of doing some entertainment industries and so on with, your teacher here. I hope that we will be picking a new topic each time and presenting them to you. We are waiting for your commentary because no one is perfect. And then we keep on improving and helping one another. There is nothing perfect on any of all those YouTube's presentations. There is always room for improvement. That's how we advance as humankind. Thank you very much once again, and await the next presentation very shortly.